Welcome to Guyoga, our yoga program for men. We are sharing the first workout in the series. To try the rest of the workouts for free, please follow the link in the description below. Enjoy.
Hey guys, my name is Dean, co-producer of Body by Yoga, the lead instructor on this workout and all of the workouts on this DVD, and welcome to Yoga Sharpened. So in this workout, we're going to focus on helping you build foundational strength for these yoga postures. Make sure that you're engaging the right muscles. We're also going to go through some of the foundational yoga postures and teach you the proper stance. The really cool thing about this is not only will you learn how all these foundational yoga postures apply to all yoga postures, but you can also come back to this workout and get a really good, effective workout that will make you stronger, that will improve your mobility, and help you get better at everything fitness related. So I encourage you to use this workout on a regular basis. Once a week is a great idea. And for this workout, we're gonna get started. You will need 2 blocks and a strap. So get that, and here we go. You're gonna get started on your back. You're gonna work on getting your spine, getting your core, and getting your hips warm first. First off, I just want you to lay down on your back, bring your knees toward your shoulders, keeping your back flat on the floor, lightly grip the tops of your knees, and I just want you to take a few deep breaths here. So inhaling, kind of letting your belly inflate and rise up, and then exhaling and squeezing your belly button toward your lower back. Breathing in and out of your nose, inhaling. Exhaling, squeezing belly button toward your lower back. Keep this up, we're gonna do 3 more breaths. What I want you to focus on here is this breathing technique. So you're inflating your belly, you're filling up as much air as possible, and then pulling your belly button toward your spine, or kind of pulling your navel in to squeeze out all the air. And this is going to help you with proper core engagement. That's going to help you avoid back pain. It's going to help you get a more effective workout and ultimately help you get stronger. So try to keep up this breathing as we move through this workout and all of the other workouts. From here, I want you to press both hands into your thighs, grab a block, put that between your legs, and firmly squeeze that block between your thighs while pushing your hands into your thighs. So we've got inner thigh engagement. Your inner thighs are working here. The fronts of your thighs are working, so your quadriceps and your hip flexors, more so your hip flexors, not so much quadriceps here. But the goal is to make sure your core is really working. So again, this is something that you can apply to all of the workouts that we're doing, all of the postures and exercises. Yoga is extremely focused on core, so you want to have this feeling of engagement through your stomach as you're going through these workouts. Push a little bit harder for 5 more seconds. Pull your belly button down. 3, 2, 1, and release. From here, I want you to plant your feet. Make sure that you can kind of touch your heels with your fingers. Squeeze the block between your thighs. Press down through your feet, push down through your heels, and then drive your hips off the ground. Make sure that you're squeezing that block. Make sure that you're pulling your heels, pulling your shoulders toward your heels, so kind of just this little pull to engage your hamstrings. So the bottoms of your thighs should be working here. Go ahead and relax your neck. You don't need to look at me for this part. I'll guide you through it. Squeeze your butt as much as you can to drive your hips up. You're lifting with your hips and your thighs here, not with your back. So you're gonna feel a little bit in your lower back, but you shouldn't feel strain or pain in your lower back. Focus on the hips. Drive up a little bit higher, and then I want you to bring just your right leg out. So just hover your right leg 6 inches off the ground. Drive down through your left heel, squeeze your left glute. Feel that glute engaging, feel your butt muscles engaging. And then switch, plant your right foot, bring your left leg out. Again, drive down through your right heel, squeeze your right hip in, make sure your hips are level. And then release that left foot and go ahead and take it down. All right, nicely done. From here, we're gonna flip over into a tabletop position. Take it onto your knees and your hands. Knees are under your hips, lightly squeezing your legs toward one another, kind of just like you were holding that block. Hands come under your shoulders, and we're gonna go over hand positioning here. This is really important for yoga. Your index fingers will face straight forward, and your thumbs are gonna face in. Make sure that your hands don't turn in like this. That's going to put a lot of stress on the fronts of your shoulders, and it could cause injury if you do it over time. So again, index fingers forwards, facing forward, and thumbs facing in. You also wrap your biceps forward here, and that helps you plug in your shoulders. Shoulder blades pull down toward your hips, and your neck should be nice and loose and kind of free here. So you shouldn't feel like your shoulders are shrugging up near your ears. From here, bring your left arm straight out in front of you, reach it out, keep your hips exactly the same or as close to as they are now, and then bring your right leg straight out behind you. And as you do this, you should feel your abs start to tighten. I know you might want to look at me right now, but look down at the ground. I'll guide you through this. So look down straight at the mat, press your right leg back, reach your left arm forward, and then pull your belly button up, breathing in and out of your nose. Go ahead and release down. And then again, one more time, same side. Without moving your hips, bring your left arm out, bring your right leg back. The key to this pose is not moving your hips, so keeping your hips stable, and that's going to help you build the most core strength here. Go ahead and take it down. One more time, without moving your hips, left arm out, right leg back. Breathing in control, neck nice and long, looking straight down, and then release. Okay, other side. Without moving your hips, bring your right arm out, bring your left leg straight back. Pull your belly button up and in. You should feel your abs really tight here. You're gonna feel that left thigh engaging. You might also feel some stretching through your right shoulder. No pain through your neck, no pain through the lower back. Make sure you're not arching. So belly button pulls in, back stays flat. Release down. And again, 2 more. Right arm comes out. Without moving the hips, bring the left leg back. Breathe normally. Release down. And then 1 more. Without moving your hips, right arm out, left leg back. And release down. All right, nice job. That was bird dog. We'll do that in a lot of the workouts here. It's really important for your core and strengthening your back. From here, we're gonna take it into a plank, and I want you to make sure the shoulders are in the right position here. So go ahead and lean back, hips onto your heels, or if that's uncomfortable, just come up onto your knees like this. If your knees hurt in this position, you can also put a towel or a pad underneath your knees. Go ahead and turn your palms to face forward. Pull your shoulders back and down. Again, keeping the neck nice and loose. With your palms facing forward, pull your shoulder blades together. And you'll notice that your chest is nice and open here. So I wanna make sure that I'm not rounding my shoulders in. Chest is open, shoulder blades pulled down and back. And I wanna maintain this position as I go through plank and down dog and other upper body exercises where my hands are down. So with your shoulders just like this, bring your arms straight out in front of you, pull the shoulder blades in toward one another, shoulders are down, you wanna feel your upper back muscles active here, and then very slowly, keeping your arms exactly the same, plant your hands, feel how this weight is in your upper back now, tuck your toes and come into a plank. You can also keep your knees down if you wanna build up to it. Belly button pulls up, top of the head presses forward, and I'm gonna look slightly forward here. Don't look back behind you. Also don't look all the way out in front of you, but looking just slightly forward. And the goal of this plank is to help you strengthen your upper body safely. So again, making sure that the shoulders are open, shoulder blades pulling toward one another, and down toward your hips. All right, go ahead and release that. From here, we're gonna take it down onto your chest into a Cobra. And Cobra is another foundational yoga pose. It works on back strength, hip strength, really good for fixing your posture and also for preventing back injury. Hands go under your shoulders, so kind of your thumbs are right under your chest. Reach your legs back one at a time, as far as you can, and then press the tops of your toes into the ground. Squeeze your legs toward one another. Pretend like you're holding a piece of paper between your thighs. Squeeze your thighs so that your knees lift off the ground. Pull your belly button up and in toward your lower back. And then using your hip and your core strength, lift your chest about 3 inches off the ground. Make sure that you're not lifting to the left or to the right, but lifting straight up. Press the top of your head forward, away from your hips. Again, still squeezing your legs toward one another, still pushing down through the toes. Opening your chest by squeezing your elbows back and toward one another and down toward the hips. And you'll feel that your hips are working, your glutes are relaxed, your abs are working, and your legs are working too. Top of the head again, really long, no straining through the neck. And then go ahead and release down. As you practice that, as you get better, you'll be able to go deeper into it. All right, now we're gonna go into a lunge. This is another really basic posture found in yoga, and it leads into tons of other exercises. So I'm gonna have you step your right leg forward, knee over your ankle and your front foot. If it hurts to have your knee down here, again, you can put a pad under your knee. The other thing you can do is start to push down more through your right leg. So notice how I'm kind of hovering my left leg here. Now that takes a lot of strength, but that's what I want you to build up to. So you're putting the weight in the right leg, not allowing that leg, or not allowing the weight to sink into your left leg. Knee is over the ankle. I also squeeze my legs toward one another. So the right leg squeezes back, the left leg squeezes forward. And you'll find that in almost every yoga posture that we do. Chest is upright, and I'm here. Lots of engagement through my glutes, right? So my right hip, through my right thigh, and then also through my left glute and my left thigh. From here, I can go up into a high lunge, and I can do a lot of other yoga postures from there. All right, let's switch sides, do it again. Change the angle up on you so you can see it a different way. Left leg forward. Again, knee over the ankle and the front foot. Hips are squared straight forward. And I want to make sure that my left hip isn't forward in front of my right hip. So the hips are squared. Drive down through your left heel. Squeeze your left hip. Push down through your toes as well. Ribs lift up away from the hips. So I'm not sinking down, but I'm getting height through my torso. You can also tuck your back toes. That will help with a little more engagement through your right leg and alleviate some of the stress on the knee if you do have pain or discomfort in the knee. And again, from here, I want to just kind of work on lifting that knee off the ground. If you can't do it yet, that's totally fine. Don't worry about it, but that helps teach you to shift the weight into your left leg. The alternative is using a towel or using some sort of cushion under that knee. And your focus on the lunge is keeping the weight in your hips. So if you notice the weight shifting into your knee, bring your hips back a little bit, focus on your hip muscles, and that will help with strengthening your hips and also avoiding pain in your knees. All right, now let's stand up. However you want to get up, go ahead and stand up and take it into a warrior one. So warrior one is a lunge with your back foot out at 45 degrees. We're going to start with the right leg forward and your left leg back. Left foot points out 45 degrees, not straight out to the side, not straight forward, but about 45 degrees. Your hips are going to square straight forward. They won't face absolutely to the front, but you want to make sure that your hips aren't facing out to the side. Right hip pulls back, left hip pulls forward, shoulders stay stacked on top of the hips. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, sink your hips forward, knee over the ankle and your front foot. If you notice that your butt is way out behind you, then I want you to bring your feet a little bit closer together. It's not important how far apart your feet are. What's more important is the sensation of the stretch and how it applies to you. So make sure you're doing the pose in a way that works for you and not just copying somebody else. From here, squeeze your legs toward one another. So in all lunge positions, your front leg squeezes back and your back leg squeezes forward. That helps to strengthen your inner thighs, which helps to stabilize your spine, strengthen your core, and also strengthens your knees. Sink a little bit deeper as you hold it. And if that knee goes over the ankle in the front foot, you're going to crawl that foot forward just a little bit more. One other aspect of this is the back foot. You want to make sure that you see a bit of a shadow between the arch of your foot and the ground. So if you notice that that foot is caving in, make sure you're pushing into the outer edge of your back foot, pushing down through the heel, and it even helps to kind of lift the toes to make sure that you're doing that. All right. Sound good? Let's move on. Next side. So now the left leg is forward, right leg is back. Again, 45 degrees. I want to make sure that I can keep my hips under my shoulders. Legs squeeze toward one another. Push into the outer edge of your back foot. Push down through the heel. And really make sure that you're driving down through the heel in the front foot. If you notice that your heel is lifting up and you're sinking the knee forward, that puts a lot of strain in your knees. Your hip muscles are way bigger than the muscles that attach to your knees. You also have more muscles there. You have more support from your core as well. So make sure that you're putting the weight in your hips, not in the knees. Again, legs squeeze toward one another. The back leg squeezes forward, the front leg squeezes back. It helps to imagine a mat that's slowly sliding your feet apart, or you have to squeeze your legs together or the mat will fall apart. Sometimes if you have a really slippery mat, that will actually happen. Again, hips are facing forward as much as possible, and I also want to try to get my left hip below my right hip. So pushing down hard through the left heel, pulling the right hip forward and up, like I'm pulling it across the body. Weight in your hips, abs tight. Doing Warrior One on a regular basis is going to really help with your groin mobility, which helps to improve the health of your knees, your back, both in terms of injury prevention and in terms of day-to-day fitness, so how you feel on a day-to-day basis. All right, so do that on a regular basis. Let's go ahead and straighten that front leg. Turn your feet to face to the outside. Big breath in, let's lift your arms up, get a little breath here. And then exhale, release your arms to your sides. All right, next pose, Warrior Two. Come into a wide stance. Depending on your hip mobility, again, it might be wider if you're more flexible, not as wide if you're new or not as flexible. Turn your toes slightly in. And this is really important because it helps with your knee health. It's going to help you better engage your quadriceps. These are the muscles in the fronts of your thighs, and that will help to lessen the strain on your knee. From here, very simple. Keep your hips facing to the outside. Turn your front foot to face forward, and then bend into your front knee, leading with your hips. Knee over the ankle on the front foot. Again, very important that you keep that back foot turned in slightly. That's going to help you protect your knees. From here, I want you to squeeze your legs toward one another, just as if the mat were sliding apart in opposite directions. The hips stay under the shoulders, so you want to make sure you're not leading with the shoulders here. Legs squeezing toward one another, tailbone reaching down, which means you're trying to aim the very bottom of your spine straight at the ground. Don't let your butt poke out behind you. Don't let your lower back arch. Instead, think of lengthening or removing that arch from your lower back. And that's going to help you better engage your core and also work more on your hip mobility. So this is our Warrior Two stance. We've got engagement through both legs, my quadriceps, my glutes, those are your butt muscles, those are working. And then also in the back leg, the thigh, the front and the back of the thigh are working. I'm also pushing into the outer edge of my back foot, feeling a bit of a stretch to that outer ankle area. Last step of Warrior Two is the arms. Press your fingertips out in opposite directions. Pull your shoulder blades back and down so your neck is nice and loose, and then look straight over your right middle finger. You should be feeling this weight evenly balanced throughout both legs, not all in the front leg, but also your back leg helping out. All right, let's do that on the other side. Go ahead and straighten that leg, turn it in. Another breath, lift up. Exhale, release your arms down. All right, straighten to the other side. Left foot turns out, sink into your front knee, squeeze the legs toward one another, thighs working, inner thighs working, and core working, your abs working. One other aspect of this is making sure that your knee doesn't cave in toward the middle. So it helps to squeeze your knee to the outside. So my left leg is forward here. I'm gonna squeeze my left knee to the left. I should be able to see my big toe around my knee. If I can't, if that knee is coming in, that's a sign that I'm doing this incorrectly, and over time that could lead to knee pain or injury. So make sure you're squeezing that left knee out to the left. Ribs lift away from the hips, so I'm creating space through my core. Arms are still out in opposite directions, shoulder blades pulling back and down, and then looking straight over my left middle finger. Again, I want to feel this weight distributed throughout my whole body. If I'm feeling all of this in my left leg, there's a good chance that my shoulders are shifting forward. If you have a mirror or if you have the ability to kind of film yourself while you're doing this, just set up your phone, record a video. That will be really helpful with your technique because you really have no idea what you look like until you see yourself doing it. So keep in mind that that's a really good training tool. All right, go ahead and straighten that leg, turn it in, bring your feet back together, toes touch, lift your arms overhead, big breath in. Exhale, release your hands. Okay, balancing. I'm gonna have you stop to the top of the mat, press down through your right foot, through your right heel especially, feel the muscles in your right thigh and your right glute and that outer hip working. Come up onto your left toes and then just slowly lift your left knee away from the ground. We call this a one-leg balance embodied by yoga. Internally, we call this the Captain Morgan pose. So if you want to talk about this with your friends, Captain Morgan. What we're doing here is working on balance. We're strengthening the outer hips, you're strengthening your core, and you're also strengthening your auxiliary muscles. So balancing is part skill and part strength And it only comes with practicing, but also building the strength. If you notice that you're falling to your non-standing foot, so if you're trying to balance and you kind of keep falling over toward the left right now, that's a good sign that you lack stability in your outer right hip. So you can work on that by doing that single leg bridge that we did at the beginning of the workout. Make sure that your shoulders stay above your hips. Your ankle is right below your hips. So you're not pressing your hips forward, not bending the knee at all, but keeping your legs straight, staying as tall as you can. And then go ahead and release down. And let's switch sides. Push down through your left toes and your left heel. Slowly come up onto your right toes. Stand up nice and tall, feeling your thighs and your hips engage, and then lightly lift your right leg away from the ground. One other aspect of yoga is slow, controlled movement. So instead of just lifting it off the ground and swinging it up, focus on very slowly lifting that leg up. Part of what makes these workouts really effective is moving slow and in control. It's different from a lot of the workouts that you might be used to. Or if you're not working out, then it's important to do this because you should be able to do the poses with proper technique slowly before doing them quickly. Slow precedes fast. Again, feeling this in the outer thigh, the front of your thigh, your ankles are working, and even the front of your lifted leg is working, so that front of the hip. Abs are tight, standing up as tall as you can, shoulders rolled down and back. And then release that right leg back down. All right, toes together, heels an inch apart. Go ahead and grab a block and put that in front of your feet, about 6 inches in front of your feet. We're gonna go through what's called a half sun salutation, and this is very common. You'll see this in our yoga workouts and almost every other yoga workout that you do. Toes touch, heels an inch apart. Press down through your feet. Make sure that your hips are above your heels. Common error here is to lean forward. So if you feel like the weight is in your toes and not in your heels, bring your hips back a little bit. That's also going to relieve pressure from the lower back. Turn your palms to face forward, squeeze your thighs, bring the shoulders down and back, bring your chin in toward your throat, and breathe normally. As you exhale, release tension. As you inhale, get bigger, get longer, get taller, or maintain proper technique. Inhale, lift your arms. Exhale, forward fold. Pay attention. Bend your knees. Bring your arms out wide. Keep breathing normally here. Pull your chest forward. So we're not going to bring the chest down. I want you to pull your chest forward. Keep your sternum, the bone right in front of your heart, looking straight forward. And then very slowly, kind of in a swan dive going forward. Use the block here. So I want you to bend your knees. Use the block, hands to the block. Keep the chest pulling forward. And you should feel your abs working here. You should feel your thighs working and the backs of your legs stretching. You want to avoid the upper back lifting above your hips. So if you notice that your back is lifting up and rounding here and you're shrugging your shoulders forward, that's a good sign that you should bend the knees more. That allows you to lengthen through the front of your body and avoid that rounding through your back. That helps to avoid pain, and it's also not reinforcing what you do on a daily basis, which is sitting and rounding your back. So we're gonna fight that with proper technique, bending the knees and using a block. From here, half lift. Pull your torso forward. Try to make an L shape with your body. Push down through your feet, squeeze your thighs, look straight down at the ground, not forward, but straight down. And lean slightly forward here. So make sure that your butt isn't way out behind you, but you're leaning slightly forward, still able to keep your heels on the ground, but not leaning back. Big breath in here. As you exhale, bend your knees a little more, and then fold. Squeezing your core, squeezing your thighs, and helping to stretch your hamstrings a little bit more. And now we're going into a little bit of a rounded position with the back, but safely. So using your abs and using your thighs to support your back. If you don't use those muscles and you just fall forward, that's going to be painful over time. That's not going to help your back health. So make sure you're bending the knees, squeezing your thighs, pulling your belly button up and in to engage your core. And then from here, go ahead and plant your hands, and we're gonna move back into a plank. Again, if you wanna take your knees down and go through that little technique we did at the beginning to open your shoulders and open your chest, make sure that you have proper technique through your shoulders. palms face forward, shoulder blades pull down and back. Bring your arms out in front of you. Keep that technique. Lower your hands to the ground. Start with your knees down here. We're gonna go through a yoga push-up. This is also called chaturanga. You're going to lower your shoulders forward. Use your hands to pull your body forward. Keep your elbows in tight. Chest open, shoulder blades pull together, elbows in tight, and then push back up to your starting position. Try that a couple times on your own. Again, lead with your chest. Press your head forward, keep your neck free, and then push back up. One more time. Inhaling down, exhaling to push up. All right, good job. Now from here, we're gonna lower down all the way. Go through our Cobra one more time. Flip your feet, lengthen your legs as much as possible, one at a time, reaching your legs back. Press the toes into the ground. Squeeze your thighs. Squeeze your legs together, pretend like you're holding a piece of paper. Hands under your chest. Pull your body forward, press the top of your head away from your hips. Open your chest by squeezing your elbows in toward your hips and down. And then slowly arching. As you build strength, you can arch more. Avoid pain in your lower back though. So if you're pushing down and lifting up and you feel strain in your back, you're going too far. Focus on strength and not using your arms to help you here. And then go ahead and release down. Last pose is down dog. We're gonna start from a plank position, and then from here, taking it into down dog. Hands are under your shoulders. If you wanna take your knees down, you're welcome to take your knees down. Toes are tucked, and then from here we're going into kind of a pyramid shape with your body. So I want you to bring your butt up and back, keep your knees bent. Push down firmly through both arms. Arms are straight. Remember, index fingers are facing forward, thumbs face in. Biceps wrap forward. And then make sure that your ears are away from your shoulders. So don't let your shoulders shrug up near your ears. Rather, keep your shoulders away from the ears. Feet face straight forward. The insides of your feet are parallel to one another. And again, we're gonna have the knees bent here. One other way to make this a little more effective and to practice this, place a block between your thighs. Squeeze that block. And then internally rotate your thighs very slightly. So that means that the block will go slightly further back and your knees will face just a tiny bit in. I know that's a lot to digest, so if this is too much at first, you can always come back to this workout. Again, hands pushing down, squeezing the thighs, pulling your belly button up and in, and even squeezing your thighs and your chest toward one another. And that's going to help you focus on this pose in a way that builds strength instead of just passive flexibility. All right, then go ahead and release down. And that is your Yoga Sharpen workout. So I hope you learned a lot in this routine. Again, come back to it very often. Practice and reinforce the foundations of yoga. Use this workout to get stronger. If you do it on a regular basis, you're going to get stronger, not just in yoga, but also in all of your other fitness endeavors, whether that's running, weight training, whatever you do, or if you don't do anything. If you're just a couch potato, it's gonna help you be better at that too. All right, guys, thanks again for watching this workout, and I hope you enjoyed it.